Hey, YouTubers, it's Music Therapy Laz here doing my VEDA for Saturday, the 18th day of vlog every day in April, not August. That was when I first started this. I first started this on the behest of Johnny Bean, the most awesome YouTuber. Okay, there are other awesome YouTubers out there, but Johnny Bean was the one who personally got involved and kind of invited me in a sense. Hey, dude, just do VEDA, man. Yeah, do VEDA. Join this crazy group of YouTubers and all that. And now we see the world and many other musicians finding the power, if you want to call it that, of YouTube, in the sense that it's a worldwide thing. So this is something I wanted to talk real quickly about something that I had dreamed about, in a sense, in the 90s, when the internet was first born to the rest of us, because it'd been around for a while as a communication device between certain factors of the government, especially scientists who needed to share information quickly. And they had a network between each other's buildings and whatnot through basically a telephone line, in a sense, but with the computers hooked up. And so that's basically the system that we're using, that we call the web. It's just gone worldwide web, right? And now we just call it the internet or the net. But yeah, this is a great way for people to get together and communicate and collaborate and all that. And the dream that I had back in the 90s, I started a studio with a buddy of mine, because I had another friend, good friend of mine. We're disconnected now, unfortunately, but a good friend of mine, Corey, and I we were renting an office space in Burlingame, California, near the Hyatt Hotel, just south of the San Francisco International Airport. And we had this office space there. It was huge. It was a huge office space that we were renting, and we were able to use it at night to rock out in, right? And there were people that would work late at night too, and they'd walk through the halls to the bathroom or whatever, and they'd pop in and say, "Hey, that sounds great. I love listening to you guys playing and stuff at night." But back then, I had a full-on, tube monitor. Like, you guys are all used to flat screen monitors. Back in those days, we had like an old TV tube monitor, right? And I had my computer on this roll-away kind of desk thing that I had a couple rack mounts in. I had a Kurzweil PX rack mount, and then I was using my A80 Roland keyboard controller. It didn't even have sounds. It's kind of like the Juno DS88 that I have over here. Real nice piano action, oil dampered keys and all that, if you know what that's all about. Good aftertouch and control sensitivity and all that. Great feeling keyboard for not a real piano, right? And I had that in my studio afterwards. So what we did was, he got married. He and his wife were wonderful, but they were spending a lot more time getting their lives going together. And he wasn't coming into the studio very much, and I was there by myself too much. And I'm like, this is not really what I had in mind. So another buddy of mine approached me, this guy Andy, and approached me to do music with him. And we'd been friends for a while, and he knew my family. He actually immigrated in the late 80s, right before the wall came down in 89, right? I'm talking about the Iron Curtain wall, right? Pink Floyd, The Wall, and that whole kind of The Wall. It's not all about Pink Floyd, The Wall is not about that wall, but anyway. So there was this wall around the Soviet world at that time that kept people from leaving. No one really wanted to go in. They couldn't get out. There's some other people that might have wanted to go in, but the bottom line is that Andy and I decided to do some music collaborating, and he was way into computers and what became EDM, electronic dance music, right? Because he came out of Europe and he did some DJing in his young age, late teens or whatever. He was DJing and stuff. And back in Europe, in Hungary, where he came from, people went to clubs when they were like young. I mean, people were drinking and partying at 13, 14, 15 years old, just like we did in the 80s. But they were doing it, and they had clubs, and they were doing that even in Hungary, Soviet bloc controlled country at that time. So the bottom line is that guy and I collaborated on music, and we built the studio from the ground up at my grandparents' house, where he actually ended up moving into one of the extra rooms that I had there. I had that as my living room, and then he kind of begged me to let him like move in there. So I said, okay. And we built this studio. So we were partners, man, and we built this studio from the ground up out of basically it was like a wood shack in the back of my grandparents, but it had a, nice big, more than 10 foot by 20 foot slab of concrete, and it already had kind of the frame there, like a carport, like all around, just pulling to one side. So we built like a big garage door kind of thing, that two-sided, I built pretty much the whole thing with his help. And it was a fun project, cost a lot of money. But the bottom line is, at that time, I say bottom line a lot, right? At the time, my dream was that we could create a website, and we called it alliedmusicians.com, a website that would be a portal for musicians to meet each other, find each other, buy, sell, trade equipment, and most important to me, collaborate musically online through the internet real time. Back then, we were streaming things live. I don't know if you know about this, but we were doing like what we do now. We would live stream whatever. And it was a thing around the Bay Area here in the Silicon Valley. People would show off like what they knew how to do. They'd take a laptop or a computer or whatever, and they would live stream events going on real time. They just have the camera going. And now, we do that through YouTube or whatever. But back then it was just done, we would just send a link to people, go to this website or whatever. So I was thinking, hey, why don't we do like musical collaboration online? If we can get, if we can live stream, why can't we play live with each other anywhere? Like I have the same, you have the same website thing connected somehow, and we can like rock out together. And there were people back then that were doing recordings kind of over the phone, if you know what I mean. I think there's something about Sinatra doing some recordings over the phone, meaning that you could through the phone lines, like what AT&T uses right now for internet, is through a phone line. It's a freaking thin little wire like that, right? And then when we had that studio, we had a dedicated ISDN line. So we also had a separate meter for our power, 25 amp panel on the wall for just that studio room. So my grandparents were really supportive. My grandmother especially, my grandfather too, he was supportive of me going after what I wanted to go after. Because prior to that, I was thinking about pouring my savings into a house. I was going to buy a house in the Cow Hollow. I was looking at them. They were just over $100,000 for a 2-3 level Victorian house that you could like fix up, right? And I was handy. I like doing remodeling and all that. And I was a 20 something, almost 30-year-old guy, and I was thinking to buy a house there right off the Presidio, right between Pacific Heights and the Bay. Man, you guys just look at the prices of those houses right now. I could have bought one. I was looking at one. I remember there's one in particular I was really wanting to buy. It was $112,000 was the asking price, and it was a 3-unit building, right? House, Victorian. Yeah, I'd be rich right now. Maybe. Anyway, the bottom line is I got the Richie Faulkner Flying V in my hands right now, by the way. Playing through the HX Stomp with my headphones on, and I hope you can hear me well. I've got this lav mic that I'm using that I bought for NAMM 2019, Winter NAMM. I have some videos about that, by the way. Go check them out. They're even more amateur than this, but some of them sound really good. Like when I do the, I think I played the Acoustasonic Tele style one, the Fender Acoustasonic. And there are a bunch of other cool videos there. Anyway, so the thing is, alliedmusicians.com never took off. I had a falling out in the sense with my partner because a lot of times things weren't running in the studio the way they were supposed to be running. And I couldn't get, the use of the equipment and the use of the computer system was always down. There was always something that I couldn't understand how to fix or make work when I needed to, and he wasn't available. And so I finally gave up. I just said, you know what, I'm out. I'm done. This is not working out for me. It's not, what we agreed to. And he was using it to kind of build his reputation in the area. He ended up getting a job working for a company called Euphonics, which makes like they're like a high-end studio control surfaces. You know what I mean? Sliders, faders, knobs, and things to control all kinds of digital effects. And I don't know where he went after that. We broke off. We no longer were friends. I ended up $20,000+ in debt because of this venture. And I remember wanting to, and I'll remind you all, if you're going to go into a business with someone, write a contract. I did not. I wanted to do a contract with him. He didn't want to do one. And that should have tipped me off right then and there that this is probably not going to go the way I want it to, or the way we are agreeing to, because otherwise, why wouldn't he sign a contract, right? But I was so desperate to want to do something and get involved in computer music. And at that time, I was using Cakewalk Pro, which is a sequencing software that is basically what evolved into DAWs, digital audio workstations that we use today, which are basically an entire studio on a software platform. Back then it was like just synthesizers and drum machine sounds and things like that. There were a lot of things you can do with them. And it was close to like studio. And then we had to have a real 32 channel Mackie Studio mixer in there, and some monitors and some PA speakers that we'd listen through, various microphones for everything from vocal to acoustic recording. And then I had a rack full of synth stuff. We had a Roland, I had the A80 as a controller. I had a JD800 that his brother actually paid for and bought. He never got his money back from his brother either, by the way. Thousands of dollars that poor young guy handed checks over to his brother, and his brother never gave him his money. Yeah. Anyway, bottom line is I had that. I had a JV1080 with the expansion slots filled with a variety of acoustic sounding instruments as well. I had the Kurzweil. I had, a lot of really nice sounding equipment in there. Then we were running all that through a software program back then called Session 8, which was an 8-track digital recording platform. And then we had an SPD 11 or 8, SPD 8 or 11. I can't remember what they called it back then, but it's that Roland drum pad kind of thing for drums. And then we, what else? Oh yeah, we had a lot of equipment. Oh yeah, Akai ADATs. So we had the ADATs that we were recording everything. ADAT's basically like a mini VHS recorder. That it looks like a mini cassette tape, but it really looks like a mini VHS or beta recording, like cassette. It saves to tape, right? But it's digital. So that's what we were doing back then. We were recording all kinds of stuff. And that's when I bought my Fender Strat, my Custom Deluxe Plus that I had, custom set up or whatever by Fender back then. They didn't have the custom shop yet. They just then started the next year. And so I basically felt I got like a custom shop Fender set up the way I wanted it to, with its own unique look and vibe. And I wish I had that guitar, but I sold it to Tikladeni to Machu Picchu, and I'm not crying about it. We had a fantastic time. Great first trip for me to visit her and her family. And look at all the other guitars I have too. And I have a real nice Strat that you guys don't see up there. And I'm going to show it to you guys as soon as I get done working on it, because I'm modding it. Not much, just aesthetic mods that I want to do to it. Otherwise, it's a really nice 60th anniversary American US Strat. Out of those 3 that they made, if you know which ones I'm talking about, the 2014s, out of the 3 that they made that year, 3 styles, they made 1,954 original spec vintage Strats. Okay, then they made an American modern version that has a compound neck and all, like, all the modern features that you want in a Gibson. What am I saying? Gibson in a Fender Strat. Why am I saying Gibson? Ugh! No, I'm kidding. I love Gibsons too, I guess. I don't have one, but I have 2 Les Pauls. What am I saying? 2 Les Pauls sitting right over there. They're studio monitors, though. I'll buy one someday. But anyway, the bottom line is, that studio and that whole dream, that idea is now being reinvented here. That's why I have all this equipment that I've spent the last 10 plus years gathering, so I can hook it all up and play music and share music and, you know, collaborate and create music with you guys. So another reason why I wanted to come on today is to remind y'all. Let me put this down. I'm playing it through this right now, actually. Oh, with headphones on, and it sounds pretty freaking good. The HX Stomp that I won on Eric Broadbent's Music Gear Network. Check it out. Music Gear Network on YouTube. He does the Helix Hour, which now I'm starting to get into. I didn't think I was going to get a Helix. I really wasn't planning on getting one. But then I won this through his 12 Days of Christmas giveaway, and I was supposed to get a G10 or G10S or G10 wireless like connector or what, a wireless system for guitar, right? And I was so stoked because I can play guitar all around the house. I can walk around and play, you know, and I can have the Bluetooth headphones on or whatever, and I'd be able to hear myself, and that'd be awesome. But there was a problem with getting those out from Line 6, which is now owned by Yamaha, if you don't know that. And I guess they were overheating or some issue like that. So they couldn't send those out to us. And there were two of us, plus another guy who actually won a Helix officially, or an HX Stomp. And then two of us, I think that we're supposed to get the G10S or GS10, or I think it's the G10 wireless system by Line 6. But they couldn't get them out to us. So Eric, I guess, you know, went to the mats with these guys, and he got us each a HX Stomp, which is like $500 something value more, right? And these are the black ones with the look at that kind of sparkle. I like them way better than the white ones. I like black. The white ones are cool, but anyway, I like the black. The black is cool. So back in black. So yeah. So this is what this all is, people. Let me pull this off. That's what all this craziness is all about. All right, got my slide. I actually built this slide out thing so I can slide it out, right? That's cool, right? So I actually have all this over here, all this stuff for the purposes of playing and recording music, and I have a bunch of crap in the middle of the room that I'm not afraid to share with you all or show you. But anyway, so check out the shirt I'm wearing. 40th anniversary Estrelance Hungarian folk ensemble. I used to be a manager of that group and a participating member and dancer and sometimes singer. Yeah, if you want to check out some funny videos, go check those out on YouTube. I mean, they're not funny, they're serious. It's serious folk dancing. Hungarian folk dancing is some serious shit. Anyway, so later today, you guys, I wanted to get this VEDA out because later today at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to have a young friend of mine, a really awesome kid, young man, Nick. I'm not going to give out his last name unless he wants to, and he can do whatever he wants. But we'll call him Nick, and I call him Mick, young blonde Mick, Nick, because he totally reminds me of Mick of that pedal show, right? Mick Taylor. Go check out, look at a picture of Mick Taylor, and later today, when you meet and see my friend Nick, okay, he's of the similar kind of heritage from that area, England or London or Scotland, or he's from that. I think he's English in blood, anyway, or it could be Scottish because his last name sounds very Scottish, but it's not Scott or something that obvious. But it's Mick something, right? Anyway, so because of him, I have that telly right there. Because if you haven't heard the story, I'll tell it again. I won't do it now. I'll tell you the story again at that live stream today. So 2 o'clock live stream, I'm going to be interviewing and talking music with Nick because I wanted to bring in someone young, not some old rocker like all of us, wannabe rockers, right? But a young guy who has aspirations to be a creator, be a musician, do this thing. And he's 18, so he's this is his senior year, you guys, which is a drag, right? What a drag year to be a senior. He's bummed. He's so bummed right now because of this whole COVID thing. Has wrecked his senior year. I mean, prom and all this stuff's not gonna happen. Can you imagine not having prom? I went to 5 proms, you guys. I got invited to 3 more proms by some young women that I knew that wanted me to take them to prom. So anyway, I went to 3 proms. Yeah, I think I was a sophomore when a girl asked me in high school. Then I took my girlfriend junior prom. Then I took my other girlfriend senior prom. Then I got invited by another gal for her senior prom, and then I got invited by another gal for her senior prom. Yeah, I know. For a wonky-eyed bald dude, I did all right in my high school years. But if you look at my older pictures, then I had long hair. So, swear to God, I don't know what it was, but girls loved the long-haired dude in high school. Maybe not every girl did, because they liked the jocks too. But I was an athletic young guy too. I wasn't an athlete, like I wasn't on the football team or something, but I loved athletics. So I liked to wrestle. I loved to wrestle girls. I loved to play tennis. I loved to play volleyball. Surfing was something I got into, not like really good or anything. I had friends who were, better at it. But I always got to borrow their boards or wetsuits or whatever. I borrowed this one friend of mine, Nels's brother's wetsuit or something. I used that all the time and was surfing on this thing we called the Yosemite Sam log, because it was a longboard. It was a big-ass longboard, and that thing was like riding a log because it had holes in it and would get all heavy. Anyway, but I wasn't doing any trick stuff or nothing. I was just enjoying being out on the water. It was great. So, yeah, what can I tell you? So, alliedmusicians.com never happened, but YouTube, and maybe there will be something else in the future. Maybe I should get involved in something like that, right? Or create it, or help create it, right? A portal, a meeting place, a thing like kind of what MySpace was, but got kind of, I don't know what happened with that. I never did that back then. Yeah, YouTube in some ways is, because it's global, it's kind of doing more of what I was hoping that would be, a way that people can make a few bucks as well on the internet as a musician. And now, a lot of musicians are doing that. So I went a little longer on this VEDA than I was planning to, but just wanted to say thanks to all the supporters I have out there. Don't forget, I'm doing the 3-pedal giveaway, or one of 3. Better be careful how I word these things, right? I am having the get a pedal, win a pedal. One of these wonderful 3 Behringer pedals can be yours. All you gotta do is help me make it to 300 before the official lockdown ends. All right, and I know this kind of seems a little unfair because it looks like it might end soon here in California, but it's got to be on my time zone and in my state. So the state of California, when it really completely opens for business, back to normal, officially lockdown over. All right. I'm hoping to get to 300 subs by then. So I know it's asking a lot. I know, especially for the quality of my videos. But I'm going to try to put out some better content and better sounding content starting today at 2 o'clock with my friend. Well, probably not today. I'm not going to do any music playing or anything like that today. I might throw up an extra VEDA later, because I was telling somebody in the chat this morning, and RJ Ronquillo, by the way, I'm a patron of RJ Ronquillo because that dude is a badass. I like just that guy, his style. I love his style. I love what he plays, and he plays like, I'm not going to say like me or I play like him, but he plays by feel. He's not thinking, oh, what chord goes with what. He's just playing it. It's just coming through him. And there are a lot of players out there that I appreciate that are like that. I think there are other fantastic players out there that are, more highly trained and better trained. you know, musicians. But there's something I appreciate about him, and people like Jay Leonard J too. I'm a Patreon and his as well. That play, you know, from the heart, just from that place that you can get to, that zone you can get into. And I was talking about that in one of my earlier videos about live streams, about, you know, the 5 steps, I feel 5 steps to use to help you create original music. I really feel like you need those 5 steps. If you're not doing that, if you're not doing it that way, you probably, you know, you can create music in other ways, but I think without those 5 steps, you know, check it out. Excellent information there, right? And I also put it in the description, so if you want a, you know, condensed version, go right to that. But I highly suggest watching that video all the way through. And then, of course, Sunday, tomorrow, we're going to have the live stream with Roxy at 4 o'clock regular time, Pacific Standard Time. But yeah, I promised somebody in RJ's chat that I would play the Beverly Hills Cop theme song on the keyboards here. That song. So I'll play that and I'll record it and I'll put it in the VEDA. Just for, I think it might have been Tom, might have been Bent Tom Harhai. Bent Tom. I think it was him that or maybe I told RJ, hey RJ, I know how to play that on keyboards. Because I think someone requested him, because we were talking about 80s movies. What are your favorite 80s movies? And there's like so many. We were just listing them off one after the other. And it went on for like 10 minutes of talk about movies. But like, there's some of the movies back in the 80s had great soundtracks too, right? And the first one I threw up was Pink Floyd, The Wall, of course. And there were so many other great movies, but yeah. So I'm going to be doing almost dropped it. Help me reach 300 subs by the end of the lockdown giveaway challenge. So if we can make that happen, I'll have a celebratory live stream, and the randomly drawn person inside the chat of that day. And you got to be in the chat that day. So that's going to be another challenge for you guys, whoever's going to make it into that chat when I do that. And I'll give you guys a few days notice, of course. I'll put it up through StreamYard or whatever. And then maybe I can even get the winner up on StreamYard if they want, you know, to talk. If not, that's fine. But they will have to choose one of these 3. Or I could do like one of those Price is Right thing. Behind door number 1, behind door number 2, behind door number 3, and then they have to choose which door, and then they get whatever they get. That would be cool, right? That'd be fun. Do something fun. I think that's what this is supposed to be all about, right? And part of what I'm doing here today, I have the headphones on mainly. I don't even need them on right now, but I'm practicing my guitar a little bit. And no matter what anyone says about V's not being comfortable to play when you are sitting down, they're wrong. Because if you put a strap on, strap off, right? And you put it like this. I'm wearing sweats, I know. It's still morning over here. Right? You can play no problem. I know I suck, but you can't even hear that, so isn't that good for me? So that's was going to be a 5-10 minute VEDA, ended up being a 30-minute VEDA for today. And it'll take 2 hours to upload this dang video to YouTube, especially on a Saturday. There's going to be so many people streaming today. I'm not going to get any work done. And I have a lot of work planned. Oh yeah, I'm going to be streaming at 2 o'clock today with Nick. So anyway, catch that, please. Come catch that. Hopefully this will go up before that. And you guys can join me for that. So 29 minutes and 23 seconds. I'm going to go exactly to 30 minutes. I don't know why. Music Therapy Laz. Instead of starting it with this, I'm going to end it with this. Rock on. See you guys. Have a good day.